place where real dialogue matters.
Make some noise for that sound, man.
It is time to take flight with Audio Airstrike.
This is Audio Airstrike. I'm Everett Hall-McNeill. Thank you for joining us. Now, I have a special guest with me. You know him. He's been on the podcast a couple of times now. Dale Nguyen is in the building.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. He's one of my good buddies, so he decided to come on for episode 93 and talk about a bunch of different things that is going on in the world of pop culture on the eve of the 4th of July. Those of you who are about to love the 4th of July, enjoy yourselves, have fun, listen to Audio Airstrike while you're in the back, having a good barbecue and be by poolside. So we definitely appreciate you listening for this episode. Now, let's get into it. I want to get into Taylor Swift. Scooter Braun has went out of his way recently to talk to Taylor Swift about certain things in terms of her catalog that he currently bought from a label that had her catalog intertwined. Now, I will say this. Justin Bieber did say on an Instagram post that this is something that should have been in private and this is something that we can talk about if need be. However, Taylor Swift did go on Tumblr and she basically put her heart out there, sort of, and basically scolded everybody, including Scooter, who was a part of, she felt betrayed, I guess, based on what she, based on the Tumblr post. I kind of feel
like she always does this, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
she kind of always omits facts or tells us
feels like the
story.
Victim.
Yeah, she's kind of always the victim. Like, don't get me wrong, I 100% believe she is a victim because I believe this is an industry-wide problem with. You get these young artists, you sign them to unfair deals, and before they know it, they've lost their catalog, which is actually is their most precious item they can own because that's the way they can make money well after they're done singing or whatever they do.
Absolutely, I agree. I definitely agree. It's very disheartening to hear when these things happen, especially, luckily, Scooter Braun is a decent human being and is willing to have a conversation with her in private about this issue.
I mean, that's true because most of them
don't want to have a conversation.
They don't care.
Right.
They're like, okay, you want to put me out there? I really don't care. I'm going to make money off of you forever. So whatever lawsuit you want to go in, I'm okay with it. I'm going to win because I have the paper signed. Mm-hmm. But these people, these artists, athletes, whoever, they get caught into the idea of fame and that, I don't have anything, so I don't have anything to lose. Whereas that's not really true because the only thing you own is your image, your music. And when you trade that away for a little bit of money, you end up losing the back end.
Yeah, it's very disheartening because artists take a piece of them and put it into their gimmick of whatever they're doing, and they take their heart and soul and put it into the music and stuff of that nature.
And I mean, she writes all her music.
Right.
So, I mean, it sucks, but I mean,
what can you do?
America's got to get more educated in these things because this is not the first. This won't be the last. Like,
right.
George Clinton is still torn at almost 80. That's because somebody literally forged his name to sign over his catalog. He's been to court over numerous times. They've even said he may not have signed it, but he's stuck.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. And I wish more people had education on contracts, budgets, stocks.
Life skills,
man. Just life skills, man. Because so many people, and the problem is the public school system does not invest in classes with these things. It's like they want them to be economic slaves and be dumbed down and not be above the status quo. And it's so disheartening when you see people do this because it's one of those situations where this person can't get ahead because you are withholding education that he needs. Now, I will say this, with the internet, now there's no education withheld. However, when you trust an entity that's supposed to teach you and they don't teach you everything, it builds mistrust.
You're absolutely right. So you have a Department of Education that dictates what's allowed to be taught and what's not, and they neglect an important issue like life issues. I mean, you're right. The internet is opening the bubble more because mainstream media as we all know, is owned basically by 6 freaking companies, and they push their own agenda constantly. So it's going to take a while to catch up because for all these years we were never taught any of this.
Not at all.
Here's what we were always told: if you get money, hire a lawyer, an accountant, and a financial advisor.
But what happens when they're not working in your favor? They're kind of working for each other's favor.
They all work in they work intertwined, because you hire one, they always recommend the other person. And there's been so many occasions in which athletes, artists, actors have went broke by allowing these people to control their money. You can't let anybody control your money, man. You have to. If you're going to come into money, you need to start. You need to find somebody you trust, or teach yourself, or there's ways to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, these production companies, these agents, these whoever, they're not about helping you. They're only about one thing: their bottom line.
Right. Equity and leverage. Those two things.
Economic slavery. How do we keep it's all about keeping the wheels turning. We don't want you to question anything. Just keep signing shit over to us. We'll keep raping you guys, but you guys,
Yeah, get rid of your masters, your publishing, your record.
Exactly.
It's terrible. It's very terrible. It's very disheartening too, because it takes. And the problem with a lot of creative artists is when you go through something like that, it takes so much out of you that you can't even think straight. It's like you have a problem recovering, and it's like, it's just very terrible.
Like for Taylor Swift, that's 6 albums.
That's a lot of albums.
That's a lot of hit songs. Her first 6 albums had a shit ton of hits on it.
Right. And she was on the countryside too.
Yeah, and now you're going to lose all your royalties to this. Basically, whoever owns her catalog is going to make royalties for life, man.
Potentially.
Oh, it will. But like I said, what can we do about it? This is what we do. Debt slavery, man. That's what it's about.
So yeah, man, I think it's very disheartening. Luckily, she's not dealing with a shark that won't talk to her.
Which is a very rarity in these situations.
Right.
Like I remember when Michael Jackson died, the first thing everybody was coming after was the Beatles catalog he owned.
Right.
And his own music catalog he owned. They were trying everything they could to wrestle that away from his kids.
It's sad, ain't it? It's like a bunch of
sharks, man.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of cutthroat dudes just coming after you. We see you have this.
Yep.
We're coming after you. It's just terrible, man. It's one of the things where we got to get to a point almost like LeBron, like you were mentioning. I remember you had a conversation with me earlier.
Well, see, they hate what LeBron did.
Yeah.
LeBron literally took his boys, guys he trusted, got them educated on the system and how things are supposed to work. So in his camp, he has no outside people. It's just guys he got trained or trust. Mm-hmm. And what do they constantly talk about? The media constantly wants to try to bag on him because of this. But his people have his best interest at heart because they make money when he makes money.
Right. Right, I agree. I definitely agree.
I mean, you can argue this about it, like Mayweather. When Mayweather didn't sign with Golden
Boy Productions?
Not Golden Boy, but Top Rank.
Yeah.
Don King and them. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, man, you're never going to be able to do this. You can't do it. He was already the top fighter in the world anyway.
Right. Might as well start your own promotion.
Why'd he really need a promoter to take 10%?
Right.
Now, he did on occasions sign deals with Golden Boy because you remember De La Hoya was so pissed off at Al Heyman. Is it Al Heyman? I can't think of Top Rank's guy right now because Al Heyman actually is who worked for Mayweather. He was so mad that he lost all that money at the Top Rank that he said, you know what, I'm going to start a promotion for fighters, by fighters.
Right. It's just providing equity and leverage, man. It's people have to start thinking that, because not everybody that you shake hands with necessarily is your friend in this business.
They want to keep us all in the dark and continue, like I said, keep the freaking wheels turning. The wheels have made them millions upon millions of dollars. They don't want to upset that.
Right. I definitely agree. With that. I definitely do. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Taylor Swift does, and hopefully that can be mended in such a way where they do kind of get to some type of decision about how that's supposed to go.
Well, I think Scooter can really make a name for himself and show that, hey, I'm for the artist.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to make money because I do have to put money into them. I do have to do work for them, but I'm not here to screw you.
Right, I think that is true. I think if him reaching out to Taylor Swift shows kind of his character, being like, look, I'm willing to have a conversation with you. A lot of people aren't willing to have a conversation when these things happen.
No, they'll take that shit to the bank.
Right.
All they see is that dollar sign.
Or if you're able to pay up enough money or something like that nature.
Or yeah, I'll sell it back to you for X amount of dollars as obscene. You're basically buying back shit that you created.
Yep.
Your own product has to be bought back.
Yep. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I want to get into another artist, and that is Chris Brown with the Indigo album. So I'm going to let you know this right now. Indigo is definitely an album to listen to if R&B is your thing. If it's mixed with a little bit of pop and a little bit of dance. But if R&B and that mix is your thing, I would definitely like Chris Brown's Indigo album. I definitely think that's a huge deal. I definitely think that Chris Brown did a lot of different sounds to the point where it was great. He had a lot of different sounds, reggaeton, you could really tell in there at times, R&B, pop, a little bit of club music in there. So if you got the nice slow dance R&B records there and there, especially
I like Chris Brown, but the issue with Chris Brown has always been the same thing, the domestic violence issues.
I understand it, but at what point do we sit over there? Okay, so here's how I look at it, right? Timeline, he did what he did. Timeline, he got criticized for it heavily. Timeline, he got raked through the coals. And then
he should have, because
I understand that. I'm not excusing what he did. I'm not excusing what he did was heinous. I know.
Yes.
I know. It was very, very, very screwed up. However, he has grown up. He now has a daughter now and stuff of that nature. He has admitted how wrong he was. He admits that he wish he could go back and change it, but he can't. So he's showing deep remorse over the situation. He's not being some cutthroat jerk with money, being like, oh, well, I'm Chris Brown. I don't have to tolerate that. I don't have to deal with this. No, he's not acting like that. He was remorseful, and now he's been trying for the past however so many years to move forward and to be the best person that he can be for his daughter. So when you look at it,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
but
I know that there's some people in the public are never going to forgive him. I know that.
Right, but see, there's also been other, people in sports and other things that have never ever been afforded another opportunity off of things like this.
Yeah.
I personally don't have an issue because do I believe in beating women? I absolutely do not. I
don't agree with it either.
I'll
run away before
ever even slapped a woman. So I don't think that's something you should do. But you add drinking and the heat of the moment and being young all together at the same time. Sometimes you do shit you'll always regret. It just happens.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. It's terrible. But
yeah, no, you're right. It was atrocious what he did.
Right.
But you can't keep. Are you going to keep piling on to something that's happened in the past? At some point, doesn't everybody have to move on?
Yeah, I do.
I'm sure Rihanna's moved on from this.
Yeah, she has. I mean, you see it in her face. She's moved on. That's not the issue anymore and stuff of that nature.
I mean, she's like one of the most highly successful female artists ever.
Yeah.
So obviously this hasn't, really. I mean, I'm sure it's scarred. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that.
It affects you.
I'm sure it's scarred.
When you go through a domestic dispute, It affects you for the rest of your life.
I'm sure it's scarred her, and I'm sure, yes, she's affected for life. But it never stopped her from making her money. So that's a good thing.
And in a weird way, it helped spread awareness over an issue,
right,
that needs to be talked about. And I think that, and to be honest, I could make a good argument that sparked the conversation about domestic abuse in that particular era.
I can see
amongst
that
particular generation. You know what I'm saying?
I can see
because
that
had never been talked about in that widespread.
Right, it's always been kind of swept under the rug.
Right. Now it's open now. Everything is open to talk about now with podcasts, radio, because the culture, it wants to dive in on these issues. However, back then that wasn't the case. If you didn't see it, you didn't talk about it.
No, not at all.
Right. So when you have that going on and he's admitted his wrongs and stuff of that nature, and he's actually remorseful about it, and he's trying to do the best he can, it's one of those situations where if you're remorseful, you're sorry about something, you have to accept the fact that there's a certain amount of people that are never going to forgive you, and no matter how many records you put out, you're going to have to push forward. Now this is a 30 plus track album. The last one was a 40 plus track album.
Insane amount of music, man.
Yep. And he's putting out top quality music at a high level on all these tracks. And I just got to say this. Indigo gets 4 out of 5 stars from me. The reason why I can't give it a 5, because that's like Michael Jackson levels. That's Prince levels. I can't go up that far. No disrespect to Chris Brown. I just can't go up that far. So that's my rating for Indigo. So go cop the album. If you like R&B, with a different sound, this is the album to get. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Some of the tracks on here, Chris Brown, Part of the Plan, Chris Brown, Trust Issues, Act In, Temporary Lover with Lil Jon, Red is my favorite track, of course, Chris Brown and Drake, No Guidance, and more. So go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. Definitely. I want to also get into some basketball talk with you.
Perfect. That's my subject.
So, you heard that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are going to Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
So, how do I dissect this? It's a good fit for Brooklyn and what they got. Possibly. I know what you probably going to say. KD should have stayed with the Warriors, but the fans didn't appreciate him, as reports are being heard that I've heard.
I disagree. The fans loved him. The owners loved him. Like, the owners took out a page in the newspaper thanking him for playing.
Oh, it's
he
a
played
class
3
act.
years in Golden State. They went to the championships 3 times. They won 2. The owner also said that nobody else will ever wear 35.
That says a lot.
I mean, I'm not mad at him for going to Brooklyn.
I'm not mad either. I think it's going to be something special.
KD and Kyrie talked before the season that they wanted to play together.
Right.
Now, they were afforded the opportunity and they did it. To me, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to explain why you chose something. If you wanted to do this, do it. Them spurring the Knicks, the only people who wanted to go to the Knicks was the media.
Right.
The media tries to sell the Knicks on every occasion they get. And then they get really mad when players don't come. Brooklyn went to the playoffs last year. The Knicks right now are known as a freaking black hole, man. They're the Cleveland Browns of basketball right now.
They messed up. Let me tell you how they messed up. They messed up so horribly with trying to get Kevin Durant. At first, they were interested in getting him. Then they wanted to see what the injuries were. And now they're trying to act like that, we didn't want him anyway.
They didn't offer him a max deal.
Why would you not offer Kevin Durant injured or not without a max deal?
So you want me to come here and you want me to take a pay cut to play on a losing team and a horrible organization?
Right.
Okay, no.
I don't blame him. I'm not going to waste my hard-earned career and my time with the Knicks.
You think about it. He's 30 right now.
Right.
He won't play this year, so when he comes back, he'll be 31. How many more years at a superstar peak level does he have?
Well, like 3 or 4 maybe?
Right. Is he going to want to play for... The Knicks are a horrible organization.
The worst.
No, I'm not coming there. You have no ability to sign any other player, and you want me to take a pay cut.
Nobody wants to come there.
So you want me to take less money just because you're the Knicks? Well,
That's very arrogant, ain't it?
Yes.
It's very arrogant, ain't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're the worst team. You're the worst organization. You're the worst team. It speaks for itself. And you have the arrogance enough to sort of be like, well, almost to make it seem like it's a privilege for Kevin Durant
to go play for the Knicks.
To go for the Knicks.
Kevin Durant could play for any team he wanted to. If his agent called any team in the league and they said KD wants to go there, you know what they all would have done?
Open up their checkbook.
Yep, I'll make cap room. Don't worry, send him on.
Right.
And here you got the Knicks saying, well, you did get hurt.
That's James Dolan talk.
Yeah, we don't really want to give you the max. Okay, well, I'm not going there then.
Yeah, I don't. It's crazy to me, man. It's very, very odd how they are acting.
Now, do I think it's a good match between Kyrie and KD? I don't.
You don't think they won't find a way to get along scheme-wise?
KD had issues with Westbrook and OKC.
But Westbrook...
Kyrie, I think, is actually worse than Westbrook with this. Look what he did with LeBron.
You talking about, what, too many cooks in the kitchen? That effect?
And then you look at what he did this year with the Celtics, right? Like, the Celtics were basically... They made it to the final, Eastern Conference Finals last year without Kyrie or Gordon Hayward, their two best players. And the only difference was this year Kyrie was healthy, and he just didn't want to pass. So, I just think, I don't know, man. KD needs the ball, and Kyrie wants to take the shots. Now, I'm not saying it can't work. If Kyrie changes his game a bit and lets KD get his shots off, it can work. But Kyrie in his present form, I'm very skeptical with this.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do in Brooklyn. How do you think they're going to play against the other, the bench and the other players and the stuff that's around?
What I don't know, because for the first year they're not going to have KD. So this season coming up, KD's not playing, and with just Kyrie and their bench, it's okay.
You don't think it's going to be like a Boston Celtics fiasco, do you?
See, I kind of think it's going to end up that way.
Really?
I mean,
even with the different personnel and
Kyrie
different players,
forces it this way, man. He had the best player on the planet on this team, who is also a great facilitator. He ended up jacking that up and ruining that. KD is not like, I'm not going to say he can't create his own shots, because he can. He's 6'10" and can hit jumpers. But he really, he's at his best. He's at his best when he has a facilitator to get him in the ball in open spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know if Kyrie is going to ever be willing to play that type of role. Because you remember, Kyrie would have to, he'll have to take less points every game to play with KD.
That's true.
I just don't know if he's willing to play like that.
If it means he's closer to another chip, let me scratch that. If it means he's closer to another chip, he might be willing to make that sacrifice. If KD's putting up enough numbers, why not facilitate and
why
feed
did he
him?
do that this year with the Celtics? The Celtics were pretty good without him.
Well, I heard that he finally realized what the pressures that LeBron was dealing with, he was dealing with now, because now you're the number one guy.
Right.
So now you seeing some of the stuff.
But then he kind of shut down, and that's why I don't know.
You feel like Kyrie's a little bit of a basket case in that regard.
I just don't think he's ever going to be willing to pass up, to give up points, his points, to help facilitate something else. I think he likes being the focus.
So you think that could be detrimental? Well, it's already been detrimental in Boston. You think that's going to carry on in Brooklyn?
I think it'll carry on in Brooklyn too.
That's interesting. Now, I wanted to get your thoughts also on Kawhi Leonard and the rumors that it's not confirmed yet. I haven't looked on my phone. I haven't seen anything, but I heard that the Lakers is looking like a go. Either that or he's staying with the Raptors.
I don't think so. He talked to Magic on Sunday, and Magic basically told him that the Lakers are just a dysfunctional group. I don't know if Kawhi walks into that. Kawhi just won a championship without LeBron, without AD. Will it be more difficult this year if he stayed in Toronto? Maybe. Of course it will be. There's teams have loaded up. I still think he could do it, though. I mean, he's a sensational player. I mean, he's a two-way player who's also clutch. And he's unselfish. That's unheard of, man. Now, the thing to me is you gotta look at it like this. And right now in Toronto, he will always be a legend. He will always be the guy. If you go to the Lakers,
you're the number 3 to AD and LeBron.
You're the number 3 to AD. Not just that though. In the legacy of the Lakers, you're way down on the list. You're just the next guy.
Yeah, when you compare the list of Lakers that have come through.
That's what I'm saying. So you're just another guy for them. They don't.
It's not gonna. So it's gonna hurt his overall superstar if he goes to the Lakers because that lineage is too strong for him to really shine as a legend, as a star. If he went somewhere else.
Now, if he took, so let's reverse that. Now, say he went to the Clippers. Say he went to the Clippers and won a championship.
Yeah, different story then.
Then he is the guy for the Clippers. He's their legend forever.
Right.
Like he is right now in Toronto. He would be that in the Clippers. To win a championship with LeBron and AD, it's just another. Yeah, like you said, he's a third guy. He's not that credit's not coming.
And as talented as he is, I don't think he needs to be the third wheel to anybody. I think he needs
doesn't.
To, right. I agree.
No, could they work? Absolutely. LeBron passes the ball. AD passes the ball. They play different style games. I mean, yeah, it could work. But why go be another guy? Why not stay the guy?
I agree. I definitely agree.
I mean, there's restaurants and shit in Toronto right now. He will be able to eat there for life, for free. I mean, I understand that doesn't sound like a big thing because of how much money he makes and all, right? But that just shows the love.
Right.
You know what happens with the Lakers? Say you win 2 championships. The minute you suck, they're billing you at the gym.
I mean, well, you can find a fickle fan base anywhere.
Well, but but do you think that would happen in Toronto? You know, all Toronto's ever going to remember is
he got us a ring. Right.
He won us our ring. Think about here. When Ray Lewis started slowing down and he wasn't putting up the numbers he had and all that, he never lost love in Baltimore.
Never.
He's our guy.
Right. We know he's getting older, but he's still our guy.
Right. No matter what, he's our guy. Ed Reed, too. That's our guy. Whatever. Yeah, we understand he's getting old, but you know what? We'll take that over. These guys been Hall of Fame level for us.
Right. And the football mind is great.
Exactly.
They can help out other players.
So, I mean, it's the same thing with Kawhi. If he stays in Toronto, say he loses 2 or 3 championships in a row, you know what they're all going to remember? He brought their first championship ever.
True.
He's now Michael Jordan's. He's now the Michael Jordan of Toronto.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Like I said, the same thing happens for the Lakers. You're out. You know how much you get remembered? You're somewhere down that bottom where they're like, oh yeah, he was on the championship team too. They got Kareem. They got Magic, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain.
And here's the crazy part. LeBron, up until this point, is at the bottom of that. LeBron is at the bottom of that illustrious list.
See, LeBron totally did this for other reasons. It was never about basketball.
Entertainment company.
Right. No, I'm not. That's why I'm not
entertainment
mad.
opportunities. I don't blame him.
His production companies, his shows or movies that he's making, kind of requires him to be in L.A. The Lakers offered him the most amount of money to be in the city he wanted to be in. Makes sense. He knows he's near the end of his career. Think about it. Carmelo didn't even play last year because no team wanted him. Dwayne Wade retired last year. He's the last of that 2003 class that's like superstars.
Right.
He knows his career's on the downslide. It's time to worry about what I'm going to do after basketball. You can't blame a guy for worrying. I mean, like, as a player, I'm not a LeBron fan.
But you respect him
but
as a businessman
person,
and a person.
I'm a fan.
Right. Nobody knock what he's done with humanitarianism or what he's done with
his companies, the embetterment he's done for people. I'm a fan. Now, basketball, I will never say he's not a great player. I just think he could have been better than what he actually. I think he could have been better.
Right. I mean, in certain regards, he probably could have, but that it's one of them things that remains to be seen. You know what I mean? It's one of them things where it coulda, woulda, shoulda in certain moments. You know what I mean? But
see, some guys are just born clutch, like Michael Jordan, where he will die to win. LeBron never was that kind of player.
He was more a facilitator. If you got a better shot, I'll take a chance on you.
Like, see, it's funny because he never really worried about his legacy. I mean, I know he went to Airstrike finals, but to me, he never really worried about taking over the game. Like, he always deferred to somebody, and to me, I think that hurt his game because he was so willing to pass up the ball. Because there's times you have to be greedy in the NBA. In basketball, there's times you have to be greedy.
Right. You
have to know that I'm the best player in the world. I need the ball. I will make this happen. Like with Jordan, that never came into question. Kobe, that never came into question. Them two are killers, man. LeBron just wasn't that type of player.
Right. I get it. Definitely get it. It's time to move on to some movie news. So I wanted to ask you this. Do you feel Marvel was a little bit greedy to, re-put out a release for Endgame with a couple of more seconds and minutes of footage just to try to beat Avatar out as the highest grossing film of all time?
Of course they were, but can you blame them? Even Avatar's record is kind of suspect.
Depends on who you ask.
That's the thing, but it's still, I don't know. Yeah, is Marvel doing this just to beat Avatar? Absolutely. But can you blame them?
And the marketing for Avatar, when I saw that it got that huge, I was like, this wasn't even popularized over here in the States. That must have been more of a overseas type of thing.
Yeah,
because domestically,
I never
it wasn't.
Thought Avatar was going to turn into this mega machine it turned into. I'll tell you that.
Right. The international market helped out greatly.
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
But I never thought, wow, this is the highest grossing movie I'm ever going to see. Whereas Endgame, I kind of thought, yeah, you could see that because everything was building to this movie. Mm-hmm. And then I think Infinity War was the best Marvel movie they did.
A lot of people have said that.
I think actually they should have ended it right there.
I don't know. Now, a lot of people say that Infinity War was really good. I don't know if they agree with your statement on ending it there.
Well, I am weird and...
you like bad guys to win,
right.
So it's a little different story. I like bad guys to
win, and I like that everybody, half the population... I was like, I like that ending. Like, to me, if they would have left that there, perfect.
Right.
But Endgame as a movie itself, I thought was great, too. Now, I have criticisms. I didn't like how... none of the characters died in the last war. Not even minor characters really died on the hero side. I mean, Iron Man, yes, but...
Black Widow sacrificed herself. That's too big.
You know what kind of cheapened it, really? We knew these guys were leaving. We knew their contracts were up. So I kind of think it cheapened... Like, I think maybe if I didn't know that, it might have registered better. But when you go in, you already know this. It kind of cheapens it because you're like, they have to find ways to get rid of these characters.
Right. Because that's the one thing you don't want to take into account is, I want to get into this, but I know their contract is up by a certain time, and I don't want to get a spoiler at the wrong time. You know what I mean? So, I think, now, me personally, do I think it was greedy? What do you expect? If there's an opportunity to beat a all-time record, why not go for it? You know what I mean? It adds to another level of equity and leverage to ask for, hey, we did this, cough up some more money and we can do greater. Or give that excuse. You know what I'm saying?
To me, it's like this. Say your team lost a championship, but a couple months down the road, you say, you know what? We're going to give you another opportunity to play and win this championship. Who wouldn't take that?
Right, you have a chance to be a champion for life. And remember,
if I'm afforded another opportunity to make up something, yeah, I'm doing that shit.
Right.
And yeah, it's a big deal to be say you're the biggest movie of all time. It's a big deal. Because look at the list. It's
a huge deal, dude. It's a huge deal.
It's Avatar, Titanic, Force Awakens, and Endgame.
Right.
Not, I mean, I didn't put them in the right order. I'm not gonna say I put them in the right order, but it's them movies.
Right.
So yeah, I want to. Of course, I want the best movie ever, man.
Absolutely. Now, do you think it's too much of a reach? Because
I think they'll get just enough that they need.
Let me look at this real quick. Let me do some so I got this from the Hollywood Reporter. This is the source that I'm getting that from, and I'm gonna scroll down real quick so you guys can. Over the weekend, Marvel and a partner company, Disney, re-released Avengers Endgame with 18 seconds of additional footage in a bid to pass James Cameron's blockbuster, which stands as the top-grossing film of all time at a worldwide box office. Let me see. Let me scan through, see what would it take to pass it. Let me see what we got here. Box Office Insider said it would be impossible for Endgame to earn another $27 million in the immediate future.
See, I didn't know it was $27 million they were down because, I mean, it has to be closer than that.
I mean, this is from the Hollywood Reporter, which has inside
but the way
scoops.
The only issue is the way they count this up is weird, man. Like, it's definitely no exact science at all.
Well, you feel like it's inflation?
Well, it's inflation. And it's also like, I don't know. They count some things. They don't count other. It's like it's not an exact science they're going on with this. I mean, why not? Why not risk it though? I mean, maybe if you don't get 27 million, say you get 10.
It was worth it. You made more money.
Yeah, it's still worth it. Still an extra 10.
Yeah.
If you could sell 18 seconds for $10 million, wouldn't you take that?
It sounds good. It sounds really good. It sounds good.
You're basically talking $500,000 per second, man. I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion, I mean, look, if you got the opportunity to make history, I mean, it's one of them things where people are going to take that chance and take that risk. And if they fail, oh well, but if they succeed, they'll be looked down on in history as a winner forever. And especially when it comes to box office sales and stuff of that nature. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that all goes as well. I'm going to pull up the Jumanji trailer. Have you seen it yet?
I have seen it. I saw it yesterday when it first came out.
Oh, so we don't need to pull up then. So let's talk about it. How do you feel about The Rock acting like Danny DeVito inside his body?
I think it's kind of fucking hilarious, man.
That alone is going to make me go see that.
Yes. I like that twist.
Yeah.
Old ass Danny DeVito, freaking midget white dude gets to be played by The Rock.
Right.
That's interesting. I even like that the old dude has got a spot, Danny Glover.
Right.
I think it's a decent twist to the movie because I was scared that they were going to try to make basically Jumanji Redux with this second one, but this has a decent twist that makes you want to watch.
Right. And then to see Kevin Hart try to act like Danny Glover is funny as hell to me.
From the trailer, it looks like he nails it.
Right.
Like, he nails it.
Like the mannerisms, the voice.
Yes, the voice and the mannerisms. He's got it.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so hyped. And then they got the I forgot who the African American actor's name was, but they got him acting like Jack Black. And that flip, that's so freaking funny, dude. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it funny how they flipped it from the first one? Like only one character stayed the same.
Right. But you know what's funny? It adds a fresh and a funniness to it that is so good.
Our brand new take.
Right.
Like I said, you're not getting more of the same. You're getting different.
Right. And it's just awesome. Like this is, let me tell you something. I saw the first Jumanji when it was released on video on demand and stuff of that nature. Funny as I don't know what. And I was like, all right, I don't know how they can top this. So when I found out there was a second one, I was like, oh snap. Like how are they going to word this?
See,
I saw the trailer.
I thought the same thing.
Right.
Think about you got this tall black athletic dude. First he plays a short black dude, but now he plays a fat short white dude.
Oh, it's funny.
That's hilarious, man.
It's comedic at its best.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I mean, I'm looking for it. This deserves a me sitting in the theater and watching.
I wonder what they're going to do with the other kid though. The one who he played the Rock the first time.
Oh, well, they got to look for him.
Right.
Because he's
so
missing.
I wonder if he's going to be like the pilot from the first one.
Potentially.
where he's stuck there and he can't get out.
Yeah.
See, actually, I hope they don't go that route.
Oh, that would be a twist, wouldn't it? If he was Nick Jonas.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's what I was going. That's what I was
That
going
would
to
be
get
a twist,
at.
wouldn't it?
Yes.
Oh man, we might have gave away a spoiler they didn't even know. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that would be sick though. I hope we ain't call it. Yo, we gotta go. Because if you called it, you're a freaking psychic.
See, that's what I'm thinking they're going with it at, though, man.
I mean, it's the only way to explain it. What other character is there?
That's what I'm saying. There isn't.
So that kid that's missing might be Nick Jonas's character in the game. Get the crap out of here. Hey, look, if we spoiled something, don't stone us. We just speculating. It's by luck.
By luck.
Literally by luck. Oh my gosh, dude, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. But what if it was? Would you be shocked?
Kind of would have been. I mean, yeah, because I would expect that.
But that would be amazing, though. Because you think about it, there's no other characters you know of.
Right. I think it's either that or we're going to make him like damsel in distress like.
Possibly.
Or he's not even in the game at all.
Or if they make him the new villain.
See, I thought that too. That was the other thing I was going to go at. I think he's either going to be Nick Jonas or he's going to be the new villain.
Right.
That would be a twist.
Yeah, that would be. That definitely would be. Well, we've covered all the topics that we have here going on Audio Airstrike. I will be dropping another episode later on in the week because we got Spider-Man to review. We got Stranger Things to review.
Doesn't that look good?
Good grief, it does.
I heard Stranger Things 3 redeems Stranger Things, man. 'Cause you know Stranger Things 2, season 2 is kind of freaking terrible.
Yeah. I heard people. People either like it or love it. You know, people you like it or don't like it.
I didn't like the season 2, but they say season 3, like everything I've read about it, everybody's pretty on board with that one. Spider-Man Far From Home, man, that shit looks amazing.
I gotta check that out. So we're gonna have the review of Stranger Things. We're gonna have the review of Spider-Man Far From Home. We are also going to have the Child's Play review, and I did not forget that from last episode. So I'm going to be scheduling and reconvening with everybody to make sure that happens. Dale, is there anything you want? Is there any topics of interest that? And I'm just going to throw a free one in there. Is there any topic that you saw around that was interesting?
For me, it's all about politics and
anything like about medical marijuana that you saw that was interesting, or anything about?
I've always believed marijuana was a miracle drug. So
would you be? I mean, would you
I
be
think
open to?
It's been demonized for way too long.
Yeah,
it's the stigma is finally being lifted off of it.
Yeah, I think, and also they're creating more dispensaries. They're finding new discoveries about it. So I think it's kind of interesting that people are finally.
To me, the thing is how they demonize marijuana so bad, but yet opioids have ran rampant over the last 20 years,
right?
And they're prescribed.
Yeah,
I mean,
like we got there's people that live in the suburbs, right? There's people that live in the suburbs that are dealing with the opioid crisis right now as we speak. Right now, running rampant all over the county.
That just shows you the propaganda that gets pumped into the media constantly.
Right.
Like the internet and podcasts and shit like that really is your only semi-independent source of media.
That and travel, because I feel like people need to travel more. Like go outside the U.S.
I 100% agree with the travel part because these notions you have of other countries before you go there. I can tell you, I've been across the world, so I've been exposed to many cultures, many different countries, and let me tell you, all these countries you feel a third nation are probably aren't, and the way they view things are totally different than the way we do it. I think travel. Well, what do they say? Knowledge is power, right? I mean,
knowledge is definitely power.
I think if you traveled around and saw how the world works in other places too. I think you would appreciate the U.S. more because what you're allowed to do. But B, I think you would also see that different countries deal with problems different than the way we do it.
Right.
And sometimes they work better.
Right.
So we shouldn't just close our minds to saying this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. We should look at the way other countries handle things and their culture and the way they do things. Because, I mean, it's different.
It is. It's very different.
Like, I personally lived in quite a few countries, and it's always been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, you do appreciate the U.S. more in certain situations, but you also envy like other systems, and you're like, man, that would be great if we could do this.
Yeah.
Like, I like free healthcare.
A universal healthcare system or a free healthcare system would be great because people are. I
am not a socialist. I'm not left or right neither. I am pretty much down the middle.
Right. So you're kind of like me. You don't really trust either side. You have to go with.
Well, I don't trust either side because I know they're only in it for them to win.
Right. That's what I echoed last episode.
They both want the same agenda.
Right.
They both just want to rob us and make money off of us.
And the middle class suffer because
and we suffer every time for it. Well,
that's the citizens
think about
suffer.
it. This is the way society has been working. You remember Hitler got into power promising the same thing that politicians promise us all the time. We're going to fix the middle class. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. Nothing changes. But these guys get in power and they make it worse. But I think as a country, because we're one of the few allied countries established, not third world countries. Even third world countries have this, have free health care.
Mm-hmm.
No, why can't we? Should that be a benefit of being a citizen?
Based on how our society is set up, I'd rather make more money off you,
right? I
than
mean,
give you something for free that can benefit your life.
Rob you blind and then can drop you. Yeah, Obamacare stopped where they could drop you, but it still wasn't good. It wasn't a great system. Wouldn't it be nice? You go to the hospital, they're actually there to actually perform a job and not just scam you out of more bills.
Right.
Not performing things you don't need, like
not put something on you then you don't know if it's going to work. And
right, like
meds and different things of that nature.
These insurance companies and I know we're going to talk about, but these doctors, they prescribe these crazy drugs because they're in cahoots together. They make money off each other. So why do you think opioids became such a big hit? Pharmaceutical companies knew how addicting it was. There was doctors and pharmacists that wrote memos about how, dude, this is going to create an epidemic that's going to be so hard to control. But in the same one, they said, but we'll also sell them the drugs to get off of it. Free healthcare, you're not looking at that.
Right. You're looking at how to help the people and not have to have them pay money.
Like they always bring up, like Canada and other countries, they say the wait's super long. Have you been to the ER lately? Dude, you could literally wait in there for 8 to 10 hours.
Some in the U.S.?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like I personally, last time I went to the doctor's, I had to go to the ER. I was in there for 7 hours. Never got seen. I just got so fed up, I just left.
That's just bad customer service.
I'm not saying it was packed. It wasn't packed at all.
It was bleak. It was empty.
Yeah.
Practically empty. And you still had to wait.
7 hours. I never got seen. Nothing. You know what's even more fucked up? They sent me a bill just because I signed in.
How much was it?
It was only like $60, $70, but
all because you signed your name on the paper.
All because I signed in.
Oh wow, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. But definitely, man. For those of you who want to learn more outside of the country, who want to just learn more, just be more of a well-rounded person. Travel, also do your research, learn, and travel. That's the only way you're really going to have it's going to open your mind up so much to know a bunch of different things and also to make yourself a better person overall. Dale, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been a pleasure, and I appreciate it. The next time that you're going to see the next episode, we are going to give you reviews galore, Spider-Man, Stranger Things, Child's Play, and more, of course, with our weekly trending topics that will be going on. We will be definitely in line for that. Until next time, everybody, y'all take care. I'll see you later. Peace.